I fought with the police in Doha when she saw her son how I was looking. She just cried. You know, even when you go to the rehab, you have to work it. We usually say it works if you work it. Actually, they were to take me to court. When you wake up, you don't want to live in that life of reality. That's why you hear of kutoa lock. The minute I hit 35, when I hit 35.
You even realize you hit 35?
Yes, I'm old now. 35, I'm no longer a youth. Actually, what happened, you remember, I told you in 2013 I had started that business. I had also registered a company, and I was given a YAGPO certificate. YAGPO was for the youths, meaning my company would get tenders meant for youth, the special group. And that's actually how I used to get the tenders in the special group. So in 2018, I think I wanted to get the certificate renewed, but I was told, no, you are past 35. You are past the youth age. So you are no longer in the special group category. So it started hitting me, wow. I'm no longer, you know, as in I'm old now. I started now flashing back and, you know, like looking back at my friends, the ones we studied with in high school. At 35, they are married, they have good jobs. Some even have built their own houses, they are driving, you know. But Aizo is still at his mother's place, bado anatumatuma huko gazeti, you know, and kusumbua mama hapo, you know. Looking at my younger siblings, maybe my younger sisters, even my cousins now, who are younger, now they've progressed, you know. As in life had moved on, 17 years, life had moved on. So at that point, I started contemplating suicide. Because now I've lost hope with myself, I'm useless. And my parents have tried so much for me, because they really tried, you know, school, business, what, Qatar, a lot of things. But I couldn't get help. I've tried rehabs for like, it's now 2018, it's 11 years since 2007. I've been in rehabs in and out, you know, but no help is coming for me. So I started contemplating suicide. I remember I had even selected a spot where I had even bought the camber, the rope. Yeah, I was to hang myself in the bedroom, but now something special happened. I went back to church. I don't know how.
When
something
contemplating to hang yourself,
something else happened. And I decided to go back to church. Maybe I can't even tell God goodbye, you know. But that going back to church was the beginning of something else. All along I've been speaking of myself going to rehab, a pattern of relapses. There was something that was missing, because the program that we take people through in the rehabs, the main program is called 12-step program, which is a spiritual program, not religious, spiritual. Yeah, meaning a connection between you and your God. Yeah. So when I went back to church, it was like, it's how I used to hear preachers tell us that actually God is always like waiting for you. He is knocking, waiting for you to open. So that is what happened for me. When I got back to church, you see, I'm contemplating suicide, but something has convinced me, I first go to church. Maybe I can't even tell God bye, you know, it's my time, let me go now. Because nothing can help me. I can't get any, I'm beyond help. And even the society had written me off. My family had written me off. Actually, it was just my mom maybe and my big sister, yeah, who used to pray for me. My dad, I think, he was a bit, but he was kind of done. So when I went back to church, I don't know what happened. Something just happened, and I started doing a program with our church reverend. You know, all those years, my parents used to go and cry to I'm from PCA church, so they used to tell the reverends, oh, pray for our sons, elders, you know. So the Makongeni PCA church, that I'm talking of Makongeni PCA. So they used to know me, kijana wa engineer ule mlevi, you know, because I used to be known even the whole of Makongeni, Thika. So I started having a program with the reverend, and it happened that in the midst of all that, I got an opportunity to go back to Qatar. Yes, I got an opportunity to go back to Qatar in that same year. And it happened so quick. The opportunity was there, and I went back to Qatar. But by the time I was getting into that plane, I had already convinced myself that I had made a covenant with myself that this is the end of me and alcohol. This is the end of me and drugs and cigarettes and all that. So I got into that plane, I went back to Qatar, and I didn't use again. That was in September 29th. So actually going back to Qatar was like my rehabilitation, my last rehabilitation. I went, I stayed there, I think, for some months. I didn't stay for long, but I didn't mess up anymore.
Do you meet familiar faces?
In Qatar. By then, yeah, some of the people were still there. But now I was working for a different company, so there was not much interaction. Yeah, and actually that was the end of me with alcohol and everything. But now there's something that I had embraced that I had not embraced all that while, the spiritual part of everything. Because you see, I've been in rehab for like a span of 10 years. In and out of rehabs, I've also been training like a counselor, so I know the whole program. But there was that bit of spirituality that I had not embraced. And when I embraced it, that's why I was able to move on. I can't tell you where the cravings went. Now I'm 7 years sober, no cravings for anything. So it was just God. God happened. When I started knocking, he was there. He was already there. He was all along. He was waiting for me. So that was the end of me with alcohol and all that life. The program I started with the Reverend, it took some months. And I'm going for the program, but I'm still using. But I'm going. I'm being faithful. I'm still embracing. Yes, I have the faith.
You're being pulled towards now.
Yeah, but the thing with addiction is you cannot just wake up one day and decide to stop. So I'm still using, but I have the willpower to take up this spirituality. So that's why I'm telling you, by the time I was getting into the plane back to Qatar in September 29th, 2018, I had already made up my mind, because I knew I needed to go somewhere where there's no drug, so that I can be able to fight even with the cravings and all that. So I'm back to Qatar. I stayed for some months. Then in 2019 I came, but before I came back in 2019, I had already talked with one of a rehab director from Gong, and I told him I want to come and even do voluntary work. I want to stay in a rehab to continue with my counseling course, and at the same time be working there to help other people. At the same time, when I sobered up during this period now from Thika and Qatar, I mean from when I got into the plane and the period I stayed in Qatar, I did a lot of spirituality. Actually, I started doing my own spiritual programs online. I remember I used to like have download this Joel Osteen, his sermons. Like every week I would download like 3. I started doing my own spiritual program, and that is how I started growing spiritually. I remember I never forgotten him. He's Reverend Githiora. Reverend Githiora. He took me through that period in my life when I wanted to take my life, but he took my hand. He took me through the program. Actually, even when I came back in 2019, I still continued with the program with him, and we did it for some years until I think he was transferred from Thika in 2021, if I'm not wrong. So even now we are still friends, and I got back to counseling in 2019. I finished my my diploma in addiction counseling finally, and I decided that is what I'll be doing with my life, helping other people. Because for me, being able to sober up, no cravings, no normal life, this life that people are taking for granted. For some of us, when you're in addiction, we used to admire people, as in you can have your own house, you can have a family, you can have your own things, So having gotten to that point, or in the process of that point, I decided the thing I'll do with my life is to support other suffering people, because I was in that space for very long. And for me, sobering up was a miracle. You see, in 2018, I had already decided I'm done with myself. But that's why it said, when you are done, that is when God begins. When you're at the end of the rope. Actually, in addiction, we call it rock bottom. In 2018, when I hit rock bottom, as in, I could not go deeper than that. That was when God took my hand. Because I can't tell you how I decided to go to church, and I had some years before I went to church. Yes, I used to be a member of brigade, church, school. I used to be active when I was young, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, I went back. Now I'm even a member of PCMF. I'm in the church. I'm even in some committees. I'm a very active member of the church. The lowest I can say, the first one was when I lost the military job, I think, because that is the one that made me even worse. All these years that I wasted was because I had not solved that issue. I had not gotten over the issue with the military, losing that opportunities. And after losing that opportunities, nothing else mattered. If I went through a failure, it was now, my life was just a pattern of failing. It had become a norm to me. Whenever I would start something, I would know at some point I would just fail. So even when I failed, it wasn't a big deal. When I went back in 2019, I still did my program the right way. I got counseling. Then, when you're doing the addiction counseling course, you also go through counseling, because you cannot counsel people when you yourself maybe you have issues. Yeah, so I went through counseling. I did the program the right way. I embraced spirituality, and even now I'm still doing it, because when you take people through the program, you yourself, you are still doing it every day, afresh. Yeah, so that's what we are doing back. We have our rehabilitation center in Kinangop, North Kinangop, where we are taking through people. We are taking people through rehabilitation, those who have lost hope. And actually, I'm somehow even especially dealing with relapse cases, because there are families, like my family, who have taken people through rehabilitation for a very, a long time and they are losing hope or they have lost hope. So I have taken it up to do something different with these people, and it's working very well, and all is going well, and we are reaching out to people. Don't give up on your loved ones, and it's never too late. And God, we serve a God of restoration, and because I had lost a lot of years, but where I am now, going towards my 7th year in sobriety, God has really been faithful. I've just told you that I took my daughter on Friday to the Dan Kimathi University, and it's me I was able to take her through high school, and I took up the pieces where when I sobered up. I'm married, by the way. I have a baby boy. He's turning 2 years, and I have several things going on in my life. So God has been very faithful despite all those years. God always gives us a new beginning. There's always hope. There's always hope. That's what I'm always preaching to people. There's hope, even when you see someone is, the community writes off people. Some families might write off their loved ones. Maybe they might think they are beyond help, but no one is beyond help unless you are dead. But if you are still alive, there's still hope. And it doesn't matter how old you are. We have people in our rehabs in their 60s, 50s, And even this man who comes in at 62 with nothing, hopeless and, written off. God can do something with them. Yeah, they'll get sober and maybe even get married and live up to 90. Yeah, so actually in the rehabs, that's where, if you want to see a miracle, come to the rehabs. You'll see miracles. That's where miracles happen. Yeah.